Native bees are the heavy lifters of the pollination world. When I first found out how many bees there are in the world, which is 20,000, I was shocked. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into bee diversity. At the end, I'm going to challenge you to submit pollination observations to citizen science through Project Budburst. They're trying to understand how climate change is impacting the timing and preferences of pollinators and their plant sources. I am Dr. Stephanie Manka, formerly Schuttler, and I am on a mission to get people, but especially kids outside, connected to nature. This video is part of my Wildlife Biology for Kids Club series, but to be honest, it is meant for everyone. In this video series, you learn about the plants and animals around you, and then I challenge you to do an activity to get you connected to nature. We are all naturally curious about nature, and I want you to tap into that curiosity to make discoveries about the natural world. When you go outside, you will feel better mentally, emotionally, and physically, and these benefits will extend to the plants and animals around you. There are so many different species of bees. I stopped at this purple coneflower to look at a beetle pollinator. In just under a minute, I saw two different kinds of bees visit this flower. Bees come in a large range of shapes and sizes. Bumblebees and carpenter bees can be really big bees, but some bees can be just a quarter of the size of your pinky nail. If you look at your pinky nail, imagine a quarter of that. When you're looking at a flower, I want you to look closely at it because some bees are incredibly small, and if you don't look carefully, you will miss them. Some bees only pollinate one species of plant. If we lose that one species of bee, we also lose the plant that it depends on for pollination. A lot of bees overwinter or have their nests underground or in wood. When they emerge from being larvae, they have never interacted with their host plant. And scientists still completely don't understand how they find their host plant if they emerge from the ground and have never been exposed to it. Now, let's take a deeper dive into understanding some of the different kinds of bees out there. First, we have bumblebees. These bees are pretty easy to identify because they're larger and they're fuzzier. Although they can sting you, it's really hard to get a bumblebee to sting you. You really have to provoke it. If you're observing it from a short distance and not bothering it, you will be fine. The soft fuzzy hair that bumblebees have are great at picking up pollen, and this transfers the pollen from flower to flower, allowing pollination to happen. Our next bee looks like a bumblebee. They can be easy to confuse, but their abdomen is not fuzzy. These are the carpenter bees. They're called carpenter bees because they nest in wood, and for this reason, they can be damaging to houses. But I personally love these bees. They're big and fun to look at. I think they're also really cute. Fun fact about the carpenter bee, and you'll find with other bees as well, is that they're not all black and yellow. Check out this image of a blue carpenter bee. Our next bee group are longhorn bees, and I was lucky to see one recently. This one was actually attached to a carpenter bee. I had some of my bee expert friends from graduate school tell me that this species can be territorial, and it was most likely trying to defend its territory against this large carpenter bee. Longhorn bees are named so because they have long antennae. This makes them appear really cute as well. A lot of longhorn bees specialize in pollinating a single group of plants. Squash bees, a member of the longhorn bee group, will pollinate squash plants, but these flowers close up midday because of the heat. So what these bees will do is they will cut a hole into the petals and they will work themselves out. This causes them to be covered with pollen, making them excellent pollinators. Mining bees are a group of bees that have their nests in the soil, which is why they're called mining bees. You often see them emerging in spring. Just a couple of months ago, I saw hundreds, if not thousands, emerge from the soil here. As mentioned in a previous video on creating shelter for wildlife, a lot of bees don't live in hives. In fact, 2/3 of native bee species nest underground or in wood. So it's really important to create shelter for these bee species by leaving dead logs and trees so that they can create cavities for their nests. There are sweat bees, which have over 4,500 species in it. And there are some really beautiful species within this bee group. For example, you'll find kinds that are metallic green. Sweat bees are called sweat bees because they are attracted to human sweat and will take in the minerals. Although this is not true for all sweat bees. But don't worry, they won't bite. You've probably heard of leafcutter ants, but did you know that there's also leafcutter bees? Yes, these bees cut up parts of native plants and use them in their nests. As they cut up the plants, they get pollen all over their bellies and drag it from plant to plant. This week, you're going to again observe a plant, but this time we are going to submit our observations to community or citizen science through budburst. Both plants and pollinators can respond to the temperature changes caused by climate change. So scientists want to understand how the timing of these different events, or the phenology, as we've learned in past videos, is affected with the changes in climate. Choose a plant and watch it for 10 minutes. Make some observations about the time of day, the weather, and you're going to know every pollinator that comes to the plant. Then you're going to submit the data using the budburst app. In a previous video, I showed you how to use budburst. There's also a pollinator function, which I'm going to show you how to use, where you can submit the data. When you do this activity, you're going to be asked to submit the major kinds of pollinators, and you won't have to get down to bee types, but I want you to be aware. And now that you're a bee expert, I want you to pay attention to the different kinds of bees that we talked about today. Were you able to find any? Did you find any species that you weren't able to identify? Make sure you use your iNaturalist and Seek app to record these bee species and upload them for real scientists to use. You never know when there is a new species out there to be discovered. In fact, I'm a writer for A to Z Animals, and I recently covered an article where scientists described a new species of blue mining bee. So stay curious, make observations, submit them to citizen science. There are discoveries made by regular people all of the time, so why not be you? If you like this video, please subscribe and turn the alerts on so you don't miss the next one. You can also join us in the Wildlife Biology for Kids Club, where you will get the downloadable activities, step-by-step instructions, worksheets, and get connected to a community of parents who also want to get their kids outside and connected to nature.